Alright, it's been 30 minutes. I'm going to get my carburetor parts out of that bucket of solvent. And I was reading the instructions, which is not something I generally do until I do it wrong, you know. But I did read the instructions, and it said to rinse them off with water, which kind of surprises me. I'm wondering if they hadn't changed the nature of what that solvent is, because back in the old days we never did wash anything off with water, because it was, I mean, everything was chemical based, petroleum based. Nothing was really water soluble. And I was thinking about that purple power a while ago. I wondered if we're not making this stuff out of something like that instead of old-fashioned chemical solvents. You know, them old-fashioned chemical solvents, people didn't really like getting them in the atmosphere because they could just wipe out all kind of stuff in the food chain. Just like, you know, I remember I was working in a leather plant one time, and I was cleaning some of the machinery in there using some solvents, and I let some of it go down and out the drain, and holy cow, you'd have thought I'd have done committed a crime. I had all kind of people getting excited there for a little while. So anyway, there's that. I'm going to go ahead and get these carburetor parts out and put them in here and rinse them down with water, and then later on, like the instruction says, and then later on I can come back and take an air compressor and blow everything out. And then once I get them all blown out and cleaned out, I get out here with all my new rebuilding parts and things, and put that carburetor back together. See if I can get this out of here. And I want to let that drain for a while, because like I said before, that's expensive stuff right there, and it seems like it's way too expensive to waste even a little bit of it. You know, it don't smell like petroleum. It smells like 409 or something like that. I bet that's what that is. I bet it's not even I bet this stuff ain't even you know, petroleum-based stuff anymore. I bet it's all made out of some kind of water-soluble, environmentally friendlier thing. I don't know. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get a little water on there so it'll stop eating up the aluminum parts. In fact, I think what I'll do with all these small parts is just rinse them good, pour that out, and then put the big parts in there and rinse them out. And we'll just set that aside and reach my old long screwdriver down in here and see if I can fetch up another piece of carburation. I bet I got some long needle nose pliers I could reach in there. I could do it with my hands, I guess. But I don't think that stuff is terribly deadly anymore. Not that it ever was. I mean, I remember my dad used to spray his ankles with kerosene to keep the bugs off him and such. We ain't never been worried about chemicals much in my family, but nowadays, you know, everybody is so fragile that if they get a chemical on them, they just have to, they just go screaming to the emergency room. You know how that is. People ain't nearly as tough as they used to be back in my day. I don't know what happened to us. We all turned sort of sissified, I guess. Anyway, okay. There's that piece. Get me another one out of there. My light sort of buzzes. Y'all hear that buzzing? That makes a racket. That old light's been through heck and back. I don't know how many engines and transmissions and things have been rebuilt with that light hanging around, but I think it's getting pretty wore out. Alrighty then, let's rinse this thing. What I'll do after I rinse these is I'll get my air compressor and blow them out. That helps a lot. Pressurized air can go a long way for cleaning stuff. What I'm doing, I figure with the water, is just kind of neutralizing the cleaner so it doesn't dissolve my aluminum parts. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Yeah. Oh, that's a beauty. Probably wouldn't hurt to take my little brush and brush that stuff some. Let me get a little brush out of my parts thing back here. This is my brush, what was in the old parts cleaner back there. I want somebody to tell me about that purple power, because if purple power would work in my parts cleaner, that would be a very affordable alternative to what we used to use. We used to use solvent in there for a while. My dad used to use kerosene and Tide. He used to get Tide laundry detergent, and he would pour. We'd get a big old drum of. We'd get a big old drum and fill that thing about half full of kerosene, then pour about half a box of Tide in there, and then he'd have me jump over in there in my bathing suit, and he'd put all the engine parts in there, and I'd scrub on them. Of course, I was a lazy kid. I wasn't scrubbing on them very long. I was complaining more than I was scrubbing, but my dad was trying to raise me right. I was like all kids. I didn't want to do nothing if I could help it. I didn't want to do anything that had the word work tied to it. I don't know how I changed in my old age, but I like working now. But I guess you do change as you get older. Alright, I'll pour this out, and then I'll get my air compressor out and we'll clean some parts here.